Class, Jacob Rogers here for today's interview. We're going to do an oral interview talking about the early stage of consumerism with television. Now, as y'all know, my topic is more or less budget westerns or budget films, but ultimately that was the catalyst for television because they knew that was what they could do to make films work on TV. Because obviously anything that was over budget, Gone with the Wind-like production, was going to bankrupt any studio trying to produce television productions. So ultimately, low budget films made that reality. But here we are, we've got four people that we're going to interview talking about budget productions in the early stages of television and its effect on consumerism. So for this interview, I've got David Rogers, I've got Mr. James Dean, I've got Miss Ginger Dean, and I've got Bernice Rogers here in this interview. Okay, so with this said, the way we're going to work this is we're just going to ask some basic level questions, and we're going to go around here and get y'all's take on what was here. Like, for me, something that stands out the first is what stations did y'all actually even have growing up in the early 50s or 60s?
Just one, Channel 13, WMAZ, Macon, Georgia.
And that's CBS, right?
That's correct.
CBS. So Mr. James, what channel did y'all have?
I think we had two channels, but we didn't have a TV till later.
Really? When did y'all get y'all's first TV?
I don't know, it was a square TV, in a metal box. Daddy built a little stand for it and put it on it. And it was about so big, but I was probably 1955 maybe by then when we got ours.
1955. So it was probably about, like, what would you say, 12 or 14 inches?
Yeah, it was
Wow.
not the round one. It was the bigger one. But in Columbus we had, I believe it was two. We had Channel 3 and Channel 9.
Was that CBS or?
CBS and NBC. I think.
Wow. Okay. So, black and white TV?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. I mean, so 1959. Miss Ginger, what was the channel that y'all could get? Or
We got the same channel, but I was 13 before we got our first TV. So
wow.
I didn't grow up with the TV until
13. And then so again, same thing. Y'all would still have channel, what was it? CBS and NBC. That'd be the only two things. And then Bernice.
Yeah.
What channels could y'all get in Cottonwood, Alabama?
Cottonwood. Yeah. CBS.
CBS. That was the only one, and that's out of Dothan, right?
That was out of Dothan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So
WTVY.
So then, how old were you when you remember getting the TV for the first time? Do you have any kind of idea on when y'all got that for the first time?
No. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't remember when we got it or anything like that. And I was bottom on the totem pole, so I didn't get to choose anything either. Even if there was anything to choose, I could choose to watch it or not.
So CBS, that was it. How big was the TV?
Big enough to see.
Big enough to see. So it was about, about 12.
Yeah, more movement than a radio.
Okay, more movement than a radio, yes. And of course it was black and white.
Of course.
So Mr. Ginger, you've already answered many of this stuff here, but so you were 13 when you got your first TV in the family.
yeah. But my grandpa had one before that, and we would go every Saturday night to watch Lawrence Welk and Gunsmoke, and that was what we did every Saturday night.
That is awesome. So,
And he had a big TV.
how big was it?
Oh, it was about 2 or 3 feet by 2 or 3 feet. It sat on a big table he made,
Whoa.
and just about hung off the table. It was so big.
He really had. That's worth driving over there to go watch Gunsmoke on that one. I mean, did you still have the problem of being like, hey, maybe we still ought to go over there on Sunday night to watch it on their TV versus watching it on the smaller screen? I mean, or was the convenience just better?
It was a precursor to the drive-in movie.
To the drive-in movie. Now, so, Miss James, how old were you when you think you got your first TV? When y'all got y'all's first TV?
Probably about 10.
10? Okay. All right. And it was you've already said it's about, 14, 15-inch screen or something like that, or
Something, because ours is big too. It was,
wow.
you know, we didn't get one of the little round ones. It was a bigger, when they came, I guess when they came out, it was RCA.
RCA. Oh, now, David, when do you remember getting a TV for the first time?
I was 7 years old, and all we could see was nothing but fleas on it because it did not have good reception. We'd be all interested in the Washington Redskins trying to score a touchdown, and then we couldn't tell if he was on the sidelines or if he was in the end zone. It was pitiful. WMAZ TV, Macon, Georgia.
There we go. So, and how big was the TV? About
I'd say it's about probably 18 inches, but not very big.
wow. Now, you know, this is another thing. Jumping ahead though, what was some of your favorite shows on the early stages? What was the first favorite show that you remembered?
NFL Today.
NFL Today, 1957. There we go with all that. Yes.
Washington Redskins, Eddie LeBaron, Bobby Mitchell, Dick James, Sam Huff, a bunch of good ones.
And in Georgia, that would have been the only market for a professional football team.
Correct.
Would have been that because this is before the Miami Dolphins. This is before the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, definitely before the Tennessee Titans. So I would have been the closest market right there.
Yeah.
Wow. And
Roy Rogers, Hopalong Cassidy, Ed Sullivan, those kind of shows we watched a lot. Bronco.
do you watch
Cheyenne,
no?
Sugarfoot.
How about cartoons? Is there any cartoons that you watch?
Oh, I couldn't remember cartoons. If
You really
wanna
weren't
call
into those.
Captain Kangaroo cartoon, that might be one.
Yeah.
And there was the Pug and Judy show that was awful. It was actually put on at WMAZ TV studio. We went and saw him. I punched him in the rib.
So that was a marketing tool to make them kind of watch your shows right there.
Yeah, it was.
Miss James, what was some of your favorite shows?
We didn't watch much TV, but you know, things like Gene Autry and Roy Rogers, I think were probably the two main ones.
Two main ones right there.
Yeah. And we did watch Gunsmoke. It seemed like that was later. I don't remember when it started. But, my daddy always wanted to come in and watch the weather.
Come watch the weather.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I had this guy from Columbus that he had a big chalkboard with a calendar on it, with a map on it. He said, you know, he'd draw all over it and all this kind of stuff.
Wow. Wow. Now, did y'all watch the news back then? I mean,
I don't know
My
if it was news or not.
granddad did.
who was on the news?
Walter Cronkite, is that how you say his name? Yeah, we watch him.
Miss Ginger,
One of my granddaddies watched the news religiously.
religiously.
Yeah, and he'd said they're talking about them communists.
The communists coming, yes, yeah, the Red Scare,
They were
yes.
smart back then.
Yes, yes. Now, what were some of your favorite shows that were on the earlier stages? Do you remember any of them?
I don't remember much. All I remember was Lawrence Welk, and I remember. I didn't watch TV a lot. I guess.
Yes. I mean, you know, there was so much stuff to do always at the time, you know. Wow. But Lawrence Welk, now what channel did that come on? Was that NBC or was that CBS? Was
it
it?
had to be CBS because
I
I
think
was
it's
on
CBS.
CBS.
Now, did it come on the weekends or what days?
Saturday.
Saturday. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. So Lawrence Welk. All right. Bernice, what was some of the ones that you enjoyed?
Cartoons.
Cartoons. Which ones? Do you
The
remember?
ones in the afternoon and on
ones-
Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we didn't have a lot, but there were people around us who had even less.
Mm-hmm.
And we had this one family that would come and they would enjoy our cartoons with us and just go nuts because they didn't have a TV at all.
Wow.
And because this is the South.
The slow south.
Yeah,
Yes.
and so we didn't, you know, and then like I said, I was, you know, the baby, I watched whatever they watched, or either I went out and played football or something.
Yeah.
But it was, yeah, I enjoyed cartoons.
It's amazing when you think about it just from the standpoint that, you know, we think of television as something that everyone should be able to have, but yet that's not
no.
the case at all. You know, and even down to competitive markets, knowing that all these shows have rival competitors But yet in a large state,
You
I don't
never
think
saw
you've got a CBS and NBC.
Never saw 'em.
I mean, that is not, and then in
Never.
most of these cases, they only have one
Uh-huh.
market at all.
Yeah, uh-huh.
You know, it's, I mean, so.
Because most people either had rabbit ears or an antenna
That's what we
that they had to get out and turn physically,
Mhm.
and you know, to get whichever the way the wind was blowing or whatever.
Now let's talk about something that's really kind of fun. Favorite commercials from a consumerism. So the question kind of here is, do you remember any commercials? Did they make you want to buy their product? And what was it funny? What stood out? You know, about some of the early stages of this. You know, were there anything? Or was it whoever wants to go first can do this? You know.
I remember the commercial, it was for cars, and it was Bardol, and they used to say, Bardol did it again. And then they'd say, pay me now or pay me later. Meaning, if you don't buy Bardol now, you're going to have to pay me later.
Now, where was Bardol located out
Oh,
of?
I wouldn't know. All I know is that I remember the tune.
That was
That's that.
you know.
Used to do S tonic and Geritol, make you feel stronger, fast. Those kind of commercials.
I forgot to ask this question, but I think it's kind of interesting from a consumer standpoint. Where could you even get a TV in Milledgeville, Georgia, back in those days?
I'm gonna guess it was Sears and Roebuck,
Sears and Roebuck?
because it used to have a real big department type store on Riverside in Macon, and I'm assuming that's where they got it from.
So it really wasn't even a supplier in Milledgeville at all at that time.
Well, at that time we was living in Macon.
Okay.
Macon,
Okay.
Georgia.
So, Mr. James, where did y'all get y'all's TV from? Do you remember, or
Had to be in Columbus.
Columbus? Wow. Do you remember what store was even available? Because clearly this is before Walmart.
Well, the only place you had Sears, you had Montgomery Ward, and Penny's. Penny's didn't have more clothing, so
There was that appliance store, remember, that sold washers and dryers that your mom always bought from. I don't
that
remember.
was later. But I don't
Oh,
know.
that was later. Oh, I thought it was.
I mean,
Mr. Ginger, do you remember where your family was able to get one?
No, I don't remember. No. I remember you asking about commercials. I remember that Brill Cream one. You know, Brill
Is that the
Yeah.
a little dabble do?
And I remember a lot. They had a lot of laundry detergent commercials, and you got something in the box.
What would you get in the
remember
box?
that.
Oh, it might
Detergent.
be a dish.
Might have a dish.
Dish
A
towel.
dish. You might get a dish. I mean, a cup.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Plate, you know,
Wow.
a dish towel or something. I mean,
We've been cheated. We don't get any of that in our stuff. I mean, we get nothing but a box that you can put recipes in. I mean, yeah. Mr. James, do you have a favorite commercial that you remember?
not very many. I do remember the Brill Cream.
Yeah, dabble do.
Now, where was Brill Cream available at? Where could you go to buy that in stores? I mean, was that just at JCPenney or?
Grocery store, wasn't it?
Grocery store.
Well, you know, we went to, my mother went to town, you know, and bought groceries, but you had a Woolsworth, you had
Yeah, I forgot about Wolverine.
Cresses.
Cress's. They were all downtown.
And later on, you could buy it just at Walgreens or
Yeah.
Wow.
those kind of places, drugstores. Any drugstore would probably carry it.
Wow.
Like Booth's Drugstore was in Columbus. I'm Phoenix
Phoenix
City.
City.
Phoenix City, yeah.
Well, what was some of your favorite commercials?
Well, I like that Brill Cream. That will do you too. But I also like Crest has been shown to be an effective decay preventative dentifrice that can be of significant value when used in a conscientiously applied program of oral hygiene and regular professional care.
There we go. It clearly left a lasting impact.
And you'll wonder where the yellow went when you brush your teeth with Pepsodent.
Now, which one did you prefer, or which one was cheaper?
Whatever the family had. Sometimes it was just baking soda and water.
No, I guess not too much. So
And we got our television, had to have gotten it from Dothan because there was nothing in Cottonwood at all except the ice plant and the meals, you know, like cotton milk gin, cotton gin, that kind of stuff. And a few other little, you know, five and dime type places. But if you wanted anything, if you wanted to buy groceries, you generally had to go up 10, 12 miles up the road to a bigger town called Dothan. And that's where you got it. And they probably got it somewhere at like Montgomery Ward's or something like that. The TV.
Which y'all had a nickname for that.
My daddy had nicknames for everything. Monkey Wards.
Monkey Wards. That sounds like much better branding than Montgomery Wards. Who wants to buy anything there when you can go to Monkey Wards? That sounds much better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it'd been Monkey Wards or else, pretty much, right?
Yeah, well, in Dothan they had a lot of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they were always bigger, and but Cottonwood was always very small. Yeah.
Okay, I think we have got more, because what's our time at?
15:47.
Yeah, we've gone way over where we need to go.